Good morning, I am Tracy Spence with your newscast. This newscast is brought to you courtesy of BioLife Energy Systems. Come join Believe in. Call them at 800-875-5433. USA Credit Repair, the key to beautiful credit. You may call them at 800-786-1330. And Cruising with the Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, weekdays 8:30 a.m., on Saturdays 7 p.m. and 12 noon on Sundays. Enough of the news in details. A probe by the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, has raised more concern about the state of Jamaica's correctional facilities. INDICOM says the investigation highlighted failings which, if not reported, will result in longer-term issues. A report from INDICOM identified decaying infrastructure at correctional facilities, regular bug infestation, poor sanitary conveniences, and in some locations, very poor sleeping conditions. INDICOM's inspection and review of correctional facilities followed the death of an 81-year-old inmate, Noel Chambers, at the Tar Street Adult Correctional Center in January. Mr. Chambers spent 40 years behind bars without trial. INDICOM says the aim of the investigation was to determine the likelihood of such risks in other penal institutions. The investigative body is urging the construction of modern correctional centers along with repairs, additions, and upgrades to some of the existing prisons. The Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, has expressed concern about the spike in COVID-19 cases in Jamaica. PAHO Director Dr. Carissa Etienne said the transmission of COVID-19 in the Americas, including the Caribbean, remains active, with some countries suffering recurrent spikes in cases. She said while Brazil and the U.S. remain significant drivers of new cases in the region, PAHO is concerned about the spike in cases in countries which have effectively managed outbreaks, including Jamaica and Cuba. Speaking Wednesday at a news briefing, Dr. Etienne said over the last 60 days, 11 countries and territories in the Caribbean moved from moderate to intense transmission, which is worrying as countries reopen their airspace. She said more than 17 million cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the Americas, with more than 574,000 deaths. Meanwhile, Jamaica's Finance Minister, Dr. Nigel Clarke, says the COVID-19 pandemic has so far cost the government $43.8 billion. Speaking in the House of Representatives on Wednesday, Dr. Clarke said $36.8 billion was spent on COVID-19 related non-debt expenditure. Additionally, Dr. Clarke said the non-debt expenditure includes $7 billion in the secondary supplementary estimates of the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, the CARE Program, the Passport, Immigrations, and the Citizenship Agency, which he said suffered from decline in revenue on account of lower activity, as well as COVID-related expenditure for security forces and correctional services. The finance minister said an increase in interest costs accounted for the over $7 billion in additional spending. He was speaking as he tabled the second supplementary estimates, in which the government proposes to spend an additional $15.7 billion. Overall, the government plans to spend $853.7 billion this fiscal year. Finally, in sports, the Reggae Boys remain fifth in the October edition of the CONCACAF Rankings Index with 1,549 points. Mexico continued to lead with 2,078 points, while the United States are second with 1,822 points. Costa Rica are third in the region, while Honduras are fourth and Canada occupies sixth. The CONCACAF Rankings Index was used for seedings for the 2021 Gold Cup draw last week. Jamaica are in Group C of the competition and will face Costa Rica, Suriname, and one of Guatemala, Guyana, Guadeloupe, or the Bahamas. The 2021 tournament is set to run from July 10 to August 1st. And that is it for the news. This newscast came to you courtesy of BioLife Energy Systems. Come join the Live-In. Call them at 800-875-5433. USA Credit Repair, the key to beautiful credit. You may call them at 800-786-1330. And Cruising with the Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, weekdays 8:30 a.m., on Saturdays 7 p.m. and 12 noon on Sundays. On behalf of the news and the production team, I am Tracy Spence. Do have a good morning.